What's up, bullish friends? Hope you guys are doing great out there today. And today I'm going to jump right into what I think about StableFund now. I've been in there for a little bit. And I want to give you kind of my opinion today of what's going on. And I want to see what you guys think as well. And I'm going to get into some red flags in this video as we go through. But the first thing I want to talk about is something that I mentioned in one of my previous videos about StableFund. In fact, it was in my last video. I was talking about this chart. Now, you can find this chart at DuneStats, or Dune.com, which is Dune Stats, and you're able to go in and kind of investigate this a little bit further. Well, I want to look specifically right now at the BUSD contract, because I mentioned this the other day, that the mountain looks like it had peaked, which means that the highest amount of capital has come in, and so it was up around 26 million in BUSD in this contract. Well, I pointed out that it was starting to dip. I think it was somewhere around here on like 10.17 or so. I noticed there were some dips going on. Might have been 10.18, somewhere around in here. But anyway, so looking at 10.17 though, they had an outflow, a debt daily outflow of $3 million. And so the contract took a huge dip that day from 26, from where it was at, from 26 million all the way down to, you're looking at like 22.4 million at this point. Okay. Well, over the last few days, I've been monitoring this, and the mountain is still going the wrong way. Okay. We're just sliding down. Now, that just means, at this point, less funds are coming in than are going out. So it just keeps going down. Now, here we are, 1023. We're at 19.5 million. So all this is sliding the wrong way. And let me show you something else here too. Right here on 1020, there was a huge spike. You can see this big red spike here in capital withdrawals. So a lot of people pulled their money out. Now, initially, that looks extremely concerning, because obviously, if you're seeing the deposits go down, as shown here, and you're seeing a huge spike in people pulling their capital, well, that's concerning, because obviously we need this to stay stable to be able to keep getting paid. And looking at that huge spike, well, it actually turns out, so on 1020, there was an issue with the Matic payouts. And because of that, people panicked and started pulling their money. And you can't blame people who have their capital unlocked in here for doing that. When you see people saying, "Hey, I can't pull my money out. What's going on?" Well, turns out a lot of protocols had issue with Matic on 1020. So I'm not sure that was a StableFund issue only. In fact, I know Coinbase had issues on being able to move Matic on that date. So something was going on, but it caused people to panic, and it caused this huge spike. Now, obviously, that went way down, and there were less capital withdrawals in the days following. But still, that was a big concern. That was a lot of capital that got pulled. And you can see where we're at today. Rewards claims. You can look at capital withdrawals right now, and then deposits. Now, all of this just shows what's coming in and what's going out. But again, it's concerning because it's all going in the wrong way. Now, the one thing I want to point out is we don't know how much the bots are actually making for StableFund, because one of the things that they mention is in their, like if you read their FAQ and their white paper, they mention that they're bringing in profit from these trading bots, but we can't. We don't get the stats on that. We don't get to see how much those bots are actually bringing in. They're just telling us, hey, we're guaranteeing you're going to get 1.5% paid out daily. That's 45% a month, which is huge. That's a lot. And so the bots have to be doing better than that for this to stay stable. Otherwise, you need more funds coming in from new people coming into the system. And obviously, over a long period of time, that would not be sustainable. Now, Some other red flags I want to talk about, and these were pointed out by, Altcoin Million 1 on Twitter, and I'll put a link to this in the description. But, of course, as I just mentioned, he says, guarantees 1.5% a day. I have recently researched a lot of trading bots, and the best of the best did 15% on a good month, and they could never guarantee that. No proof of trading bot, exactly like BitConnect, 6 months in business and no proof. His excuses don't add up, and it would be very simple to kill the FUD without showing the proof of the secret sauce. So he's basically saying you could just show the stats, show what the bots are making, without giving up how the bots are working, so you don't lose your secret of how this whole thing works. And I agree with that. Like, that would be good information as investors for us to see, so we don't panic and start freaking out and pulling our money out, like I showed you people were doing the other day on their capital investments. Now, he talks about grammar mistakes on the website. I'm a little more forgiving of that because, especially if it's a non-English speaking, person. But, if you are having millions of dollars come in, that should be something that you look out for. A big red flag here, and one that should be concerning, he does mention the 3 smart contracts have the same owner. And there is literally nothing stopping the owner from sucking the liquidity out at any time. If you look at BitQuery and check the smart contract, you can see he's already pulled millions of funds and sent them to his address. Check it out. It's easy to see. And then he mentions, how did he get on Apple Store? He advertised his company as a wallet, not disclosing the 1.5% return. Apple would never allow that. Goes into some other stuff here. Let me go down. There was another. Okay, so he ultimately believes that StableFund is a scam and will rug millions, if not billions, of dollars. Okay, now I don't know that, and I'm not claiming that, so I'm not saying that it's a scam, and I'm not saying that it will rug, but I do believe he has some very valid points on the red flags here. Now, going forward for me, as I've stated in my past videos on StableFund, my goal is to take out my initial deposit. So after 16 days, once this capital I put in here, this 185 is unlocked, I'm taking that out. I've been burnt in DeFi before, and I go into every project. Basically, the way I look at every project is there's a good chance that the money I put in is not coming back. And that actually helps me make smarter decisions, because then my whole outlook is to get my initial deposit back. And then if I make money in the protocol, that's awesome. But I get my money back as quickly as possible. That's just the way I see doing things. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just my opinion in how I do things. But I want my money back as quickly as possible. Yes, will I miss out on some big gains? Absolutely. But it also, in short term and long term, helps you avoid getting wrecked. Because if you get greedy, that's where I think you get totally burnt. So, anyway, guys, this is my opinion on StableFund. I'm not saying I agree with everything that Altcoin Million put into this thread. It was a well thought out thread. I think he did a good job on it. My biggest red flag right now is seeing this go down, because obviously if this goes down to 0, that's not good for us. Now, this is just the BUSD contract. Again, you can go look at the Matic and the BNB contracts. There's not a nice chart like this one on those, so you can go look and read those numbers for yourself. But again, I'm watching out for this. Now, I'll be doing further updates because, again, I'm involved in this project. And I'll be doing further updates, letting you guys know how I'm doing in this. But just my initial gut reaction is, yeah, I want this out. So I've got 16 days to get this out. I'm going to pull this out, and we'll see where I go from there. If I decide to let this stuff stay in or if I'm just going to pull everything out. But I'll probably keep this stuff in because there's nothing to lose at that point. But I want to get this initial out. Anyway, guys, what do you think about Stable Fund? What's your opinion? And that's all I got in this one. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe if you like this content. The one thing I will never do here, guys, I will never shill a project, and I will never sugarcoat a project. If I think something's weird or if I see some red flags, I'm going to let you guys know, and that's what I do. So, love you guys. See you in the next video.